So the last couple days, I've been thinking about, what is some positive advice or feedback or, just different thoughts that I can give to you through the manna. And it being November is just awesome because that means that it's almost Thanksgiving, which I love because I love to be with my family and eat food and do all that awesome stuff. So today we're going to talk about the G word, gratitude. You're listening to the Manna podcast with your host and founder, Rachel Kanahele. What is going on, everybody? My name is Rachel Kanahele with the Manna podcast once again. And I am just so excited to join you once again. Thanks so much for listening to the Manna podcast and just for all the support and the recent messages that I just keep getting through social media. It is just awesome. I honestly don't know how to explain it, but if I could explain it, it is awesome. Today, I want to talk about gratitude. And the reason why I want to talk about gratitude is not only because it's November, but because it's getting towards the end of the year. And, for those trying to, are working on refocusing their lives and things like that, gratitude is actually an awesome way to mentally refocus on the correct things and the right things. So because I love researching the internet and finding different ways to be more positive and be more spiritual, I actually found different articles with lists of ways to, be grateful or have more gratitude in your life, which I will mention my favorite towards the end of the podcast. So you can, if you would like, you can work on those as well. And I'm definitely going to be working on those for the next couple of weeks. So today, since we're talking about gratitude, I thought I would just tell you a little story. So growing up in my household with my siblings, whenever something was going wrong, I guess that's kind of bold. Maybe like something, if like us kids were, me and my siblings, if we were acting up or something and my mom just couldn't handle it anymore, then she would say for us to be grateful. And, as a child, I subtly would turn around and maybe roll my eyes and probably get slapped later. But what I would do is, what I would do with that phrase it would just sink in, but I never really did anything with it. I'm like, okay, that's just something that mom says all the time. She just tells us to be grateful, and I don't know why she thinks that we're not grateful. But growing up, as an adult now, hopefully having a wider perspective of life, that phrase has always stuck with me. And when I was in college, it really helped me to get through some of the toughest situations. And whether the situations involved schooling or my own personal life with, this issue of pornography addiction or different kinds of trials, I always thought of that phrase was be grateful, be grateful. And a lot of times I couldn't find things to be grateful for. And a lot of it was because my mind just wasn't in the right place. And I think that happens to a lot of us, is that our minds aren't in the right place. So how is it possible for us to be grateful? Or are you even thinking of being grateful? Well, I can tell you that to be grateful and to have a attitude of gratitude, it is so possible to feel more peace of mind, which only translates to how you feel about yourself. So along with that, I want to start talking about 5 different things that I'm starting to incorporate into my life. And I've already seen, such a huge difference that it has made. And the first thing is look beyond the negative. Now, you will define in your life what is the negative and what is so positive about the experience, right? So look beyond the negative, whether it's an everyday thing, whether it's something that, you've been dealing with for years. Try to look beyond the negative. Start recognizing the positivity. And a way that you can start recognizing those positive things is really being grateful. Okay, the second one is focus on the now. I think a lot of us stress ourselves out by focusing on where we want to be in a year, where we want to be in 5 years. But what if you just focused on the now? What if you actually focused on how you're feeling about yourself now and where you're at right now? Because what if we don't end up being where we want to be in 5 years or end up being where we thought we would be in 10 years? What if you focused on the now and you make this day the best day for your life? So that's something super cool that I discovered in an article that I was reading, was focus on the now. The third thing is probably the most important thing, is thank the Lord for your blessings. Now, if you are being so awesome, which I know you are, at saying your prayers, then be more specific in the things that you're thanking the Lord for. And one thing that I noticed when I do that, or when I've started to do that, is that instead of saying, I thank the Lord for all of my blessings, I start being more specific. Thank you for my job. Thank you for the opportunity to reach out to people. Thank you for, my family, and thank you for my nephew who was just born and he's healthy. Be more specific, because once you start thinking and thanking of, specific blessings that the Lord has blessed you with, it's so abundant and it's huge. It's filled, your life and your mentality will be filled with so much more gratitude, because, you're not only recognizing it as a whole, but you're recognizing each blessing individually. And then you start to make a pattern, and you start to, or not make a pattern, but you start to recognize this pattern in your life as, of the Lord blessing you with certain things. And why not be grateful for that? Because I think that's something that all of us can work on, is being more grateful. The fourth thing is watch your language. I'm laughing because that's something that I definitely need to be working on, but it only makes sense because I think there are certain words and certain conversations that start to trigger the wrong things in your mind. And as someone, who has struggled with pornography addiction, and who, tends to be tempted almost every single day, it's so important to watch your language and to watch for what is blessing your mind and what is destroying your mind. And one of those is really watch your language. Now, watch your language can mean many different things. So again, that will be self-defined on what you think you need to be working on. Maybe it's talking less about a certain topic and talking more about another. So just, watch your language. The last one is be genuine. Now, this one I thought was super, super sweet. I was actually interviewing a friend a few years ago, and she told me that, people shouldn't be afraid to be genuine. And I had her expand upon that a little more. And she just explained to me that there are a lot of people who are afraid to show that they are actually a genuine person. Or if they try to, maybe people won't believe them. And people start to think, oh, they're just a fake person. Well, no, because there are actual genuine people out there. And once you start to develop being more genuine, then you will have that, knowledge and capacity and aura about you that will attract those who are too genuine. And how awesome would that be, to be around genuine people all of the time? It would be amazing, right? So that's the last one, is be more genuine. These are just 5 different things that I found super helpful and that I'm trying to implement more into my everyday life. And I just want to re-mention that it is a day-to-day process. And, once you live in the now, focus on who you are. Focus on, what you are doing to become better and to improve. But focus on the now. Focus on today. And most importantly, focus on what's right. Focus on what is going to help you to overcome different trials in your life, whether it be pornography addiction or whether it be something else. Just focus on being more grateful. And I promise you that your life will be filled with so much more peace and so much more wisdom. And, adding on to that, there's this quote by Kristen Armstrong let me quote. She says, when we focus on our gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in. That's the end of the quote. And, I completely agree with that, because when I start to see things that I'm grateful for and internally start to feel grateful for them, the tide of disappointment really does go away. And it's amazing to see that it actually does work. And in that moment, in that process, love starts to bloom in your life. And who needs love? Everyone needs love. And I know that once, you are focused on doing the right things in the right ways, the Lord will bless you. The Lord will bless you. That is His promise to you, always and forever. So please remember to always have an attitude of gratitude. It'll only help improve your life. It'll only help you stay focused. And until next time, be grateful.